Greetings to you all. Hope I find you well. For purposes of our today's lesson, we are going to look at prepositional expressions. We want to talk about prepositional expressions. And I want you to understand, I want you to take note of everything that I'm going to mention here, such that you can perfect your English grammar. So I'm going to explain only 3 prepositional expressions. And the first one is by virtue of. By virtue of. That is the first one. By virtue of. What is the meaning of this preposition? And how do we use this preposition in a sentence? By virtue of simply means as a result of. We are talking about a result, something which comes after. For example, we can use an on account of. We can use because of. That is the meaning of the preposition by virtue of. The same as on account of, the same as a result of, because of. It's a reason. We are giving a reason. For example, she got the job by virtue of her greater experience. She got a job by virtue of her greater experience. Meaning that she got the job because of her greater experience. She got the job on account of, because of her greater experience. That is the meaning of by virtue of. Or another example, we can say she succeeded by virtue of her tenacity rather than her talent. She succeeded by virtue of her tenacity. What is the meaning of tenacity? If we say by virtue of her tenacity, by virtue of her determination, her perseverance, she succeeded by virtue of her determination, or by virtue of her tenacity, or by virtue of her perseverance, rather than her talent. So this is how we use the prepositional expression by virtue of. We can even say, he had won the game by virtue of his strength of will. He had won the game by virtue of his strength, by virtue of his strength of will. So this is how we use this prepositional expression. I said it simply means because of. Because of. You can even say on account of. On account of. They are all meanings of by virtue of. You can even say as a result of. As a result. As a result of. Number 2, we have another prepositional expression that is in spite of and despite. I want you to take note of everything on this one. This one confuses many people. In spite of and despite. What is the meaning of in spite of? Regardless of, even though, in disregard to. That is the meaning of in spite of. You can say in spite of, or despite. Despite. Despite is not followed by the word of. No. Of only follows in spite. In spite of. Despite. What is the meaning of this prepositional phrase? These two, they express a contrast between two things. In spite of and despite, they compare the two things. They mention, they contrast two things. Meaning what? For example, he got the job in spite of his prison record. He got the job in spite of his prison record. Regardless of his prison record, he got the job. Even though he has a prison record, but he got the job. In this regard too. So this is the meaning of the preposition in spite of. We used both of them with a noun. He got the job in spite of his prison record. We can also say, Shivayo's company is doing extremely well despite the recession. Shivayo's company is doing extremely well despite the recession. What is the meaning of the word recession? Recession is a time when the economy of a country is not good. That is the meaning of the word recession. So I'm just using an example. I just picked the Shivayo. If there is anyone else who want me to introduce, I can tell you. But on this particular one, I want to use Shivayo. Shivayo's company is doing extremely well. Not just well, extremely well, despite the recession. Okay. She arrived at school in spite of the heavy rains. She arrived at school in spite of the heavy rains. Meaning that even though, in spite of, we are not considering a certain factor in this issue. There's a factor that we are putting aside. There is something which may be an obstacle, and we are removing the obstacle. That's why we are saying in spite of, despite. Right. What else can we say? There is the other one which is in regard to. In regard to. In spite of, I said in spite of means something that is, for example, we are removing a factor. We are excluding something that might be an obstacle in the issue. Then we are saying, in spite of this, Shivayo's company is doing well, extremely well, in spite of the recession. She arrived early in spite of the heavy rains. Meaning that there is a factor, there is something which might obstruct the person, but in spite of the factor, we are doing well. Right? I want to talk about in regard to. In regard to simply means in respect to, in relation to, in reference to, in relation to someone or something. That is in regard to. In regard to your request for information, I regret to inform you that I am not able to help. In relation to your request, that's what I'm saying. In relation, in respect, with respect. So, I regret to inform you that I am not able to help. Right? What else can you say? The first is in regard to figures, and the second concerns the numbers. This is how we use in regard. This is the third one. In regard. In regard. In regard to. In relation to. In respect to. In relation to. In reference to. In regard to your result for information, I regret to inform you that I am not able to help. The first is in regard to figures, and the second concerns the numbers. So this is how we use in regard to, in spite of, despite, and by virtue of. So for more online lessons, for more English lessons with the same Mawasa, you can just contact him on 0773272096. 0773272096. Another network number, that is 0714-944-022. 0714-944-022. This is how we conduct our online lessons. We also do our lessons on WhatsApp. If you just contact same hours on these numbers, you are going to see that there are many lessons, and we are teaching from grade 1 till infinity, meaning that till endless. Everyone who is capable of learning, I am conducting the lessons for that person. So just to contact me on the numbers provided. Thank you very much.